Yo, what is going on, guys? It's Jack, and welcome back to another video. So, in this one, I wanted to give you a little bit of a update on streaming, as well as content and a little bit of personal life. And speaking of content, it seems the more that I am consistent on here, the more subs I'm losing at a rapid pace, as well as the views in general. So, for those of you that have been sticking around, I just want to say thank you, and for the views as well, especially on my last video. I personally think my last video is probably one of the better commentaries that I've ever done, in my humble opinion. I mean, I don't really think too highly of myself when it comes to this thing. I see myself pretty much the same way I see myself in Call of Duty, being that noob that is constantly learning, so to speak, and going through the motions. And as you can see here, I am back on Black Ops 4, at least for now, until I get bored of it again. Kind of rusty, but I'll adjust as time goes on. I'll only get better at it. And speaking of which, this game is pretty damn sweaty, and with all the different DLC weapons like the knives and shit like that, the ballistic knives, and holy shit, the crossbow, all that shit is extremely powerful. I mean, I kid you not, but hey, it is what it is. But that's not what this commentary is about. So let's, without further ado, let's get this commentary out of the way. So first and foremost, shout out to my best IRL friend, Maglor. I was at his house on Sunday. And basically what I was doing, for those of you that might know about this already, well, very briefly, I mean, there's only going to be maybe at the most a handful of you that know this, that is that, well, here on this platform, I did very brief test streams. Basically, I went over to his place, and he's got his old PC, and God bless him, he, you know, if everything worked out properly, he wanted to basically give me his PC for a damn good deal, and I could go about and continue making even better content and upgrade all my stuff and everything like that, and just put the pieces of the puzzle together that I have envisioned for this channel. And the thing is, everything was fine up until the point that, well, we noticed that the content didn't look good on your guys' end. Like, this video that you see here is pretty clear in quality, right? But when I went on the stream, despite that it was at 1080p, 60 frames per second, and holding steady, it was pixelated. It just wasn't looking good. So I don't know what that's all about. It may be YouTube itself just being pixelated in the beginning, but that's not, this was stream, this is not a video. So basically the way I'm looking at it is that we're gonna make a couple changes here and there. Some people say, some people have told me on Twitter in the DMs, are like, Jack, don't use Elgato, it's just gonna drain your PC and it's gonna lower the quality. Use OBS and Streamlabs. So we're gonna be doing that. I'm gonna go back to his house on Sunday, unless something changes out of nowhere, which I'll get into in a little bit in terms of change in personal life. I'm gonna be heading out to his place again on Sunday, and we're gonna be doing a couple more test streams, and we're probably gonna do it on Twitch as well, and or maybe just YouTube, just to kind of, you know, because basically we were wrestling with this thing for, like, I don't know, 3 hours, give or take. So, you know, I don't want to take up too much of the man's precious time, but the thing is, we're going to go at it again on Sunday and see if we can improve the quality, because everything else seemed to be running fine. You know, the stream didn't break down, the connection was consistent. I was doing everything through the Elgato. Obviously, I had everything. I had the stream command on and everything seemed to be running very smoothly. But on your guys' end, which is the big deal, is the fact that, well, it just didn't look very smooth. It didn't look smooth at all. It looked pixelated. The quality should have been better. So since it was lacking in that, we pretty much determined that, well, I guess it's a no. And then after talking through the DMs with a couple of other people, basically they were telling me give OBS and Streamlabs a shot. It'll probably clear up the quality so that way the viewers could see it, and we're going to give that a shot. If any of you have any input, by the way, some of you that watch me just happen to be content creators, so any of you have input, any input would be greatly appreciated. And I'm not nearly as familiar in terms of PC and stuff like that, so when it comes to specs and everything like that, to be honest, I'm not even fully aware of all the stuff that I was using. I mean, I was told, but then I just completely forgot about it, because it's just very easy for me to forget that sort of thing. I guess my ass is just getting old. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be time for me to familiarize myself with it as well. I even asked Drifter a basic question, and he basically gave me a few guidelines of what to go after or whatnot. And even his response, I didn't know what it is, at least in its entirety and stuff like that, because I'm just not as familiar with PC specs and technology and what's exactly required for for a decent quality stream, at least, because it is about the viewer. It's not just about the content creator, it's about the viewer. So we won half the battle on Sunday. Basically, everything was up and running really great, but the quality in terms of what you guys would see on your end would not be so great. So that's a big deal. That's pretty much everything. So it's got to start from there. That's the base, and without a base, you don't have anything. So, and I'm also getting my face made, so that way you guys would be able to see me. I already have the cam and all that kind of stuff. I might, in terms of a regular webcam, obviously for decent quality, but in terms of another cam, I'll be looking into that as well. But that is where I'm going to have to transition into personal life. For those of you guys that have been sticking around here for a long time, know that I've made a career change as of, I don't know, about 8 months ago, and I basically was able to succeed at it. But the reality is, although I did succeed, it came with a price, and basically I was just halfway out of my old profession, and I had to kind of go back in and basically serve tables again. And basically I'd be having a part-time serving job, and then the other part-time would be for the organization that I was very, very fortunate to get into, that has absolutely great benefits. But it still doesn't cover my bills. That job alone does not cover my bills. But the benefits are obviously awesome, and the potential for a much better future, and just the fact that I have something that's very, very low stress, and with a whole bunch of cool people and inspiring people all around me, is something that I wouldn't want to give up without a fight. So that's not going anywhere. But in about 2 to 3 months or so from now, I will be having to look for, at least for a while, I will have to look for another second job, because, well, after about 40 years of being in business, the place that I'm working for in terms of the restaurant is going to be sold, as I very, very recently found. But I don't know specifics in terms of when, or whether or not they're going to go corporate, or whether they're going to keep the name, but just the ownership's going to be gone and all that kind of stuff. So I'm kind of searching around, as my dad, as my late father used to say. It's not always about what you know, it's about who you know. So I'm kind of just snooping around, see what my other options are, talking to a few very close friends that I used to work with, actually just one as of now. And he's a very good friend of mine, and I actually miss working with him. We actually used to work at the same place for a while. So I'm looking into seeing what my options are and stuff like that. And long story short, the battle is not yet over. And the thing is, one thing I've noticed also, especially when talking to a lot of very successful people in the organization that I work with, but also in terms of people that go there as well as customers, and some of them happen to be both, that work in the organization. One thing I will say is that, as well as reading David Goggins' new book, his book in just three sessions. If any of you guys haven't read David Goggins' new book, or you don't know who David Goggins is, please look him up. Please look him up, and I promise you will not be disappointed. You'll be nothing but inspired. And if you read his book, you'll be inspired even more, because it really just shows you how everything came to be, and where he came from, and how it was basically like nothing special, and then turned into an extraordinary human being. And it's unlike anything you've ever seen or read before. I highly recommend you look him up. He's on the Joe Rogan podcast. But even in his book, which I managed to read in 3 sessions, believe it or not, he mentioned that basically, and he's right, even when it comes to the people that I've talked to in real life, that have become successful, they've basically had to suffer. You have to go through some form of suffering and some form of hard work to basically get to where you need to go. But at the same time, it has to be done right, and you have to really want it. And there is an element of luck that plays into success as well, which I'm very familiar with. But long story short, the battle's not over yet, and I am going to have to suffer more. I'm already suffering in terms of sacrificing sleep on a regular basis in order to go beyond of what my monthly bills require. And just to save, and just to try to get ahead, and then try to work to saving towards college and everything in between. So it's not over yet. There's going to be more hours of sleep deprivation. There's going to be more of a grind. There's probably going to be more working hours out of the week. I've been averaging around 55 over the last 6 months or so, and between both jobs. And it looks like that average may go up, because I may not have a choice. And it's what I'm going to have to do. It's either that or start depleting savings until I go broke, and I don't want that. I've already done that in terms of a risk for something better, and luckily for me, I succeeded, but I succeeded partially. It was a big win, but at the same time, it wasn't a complete win. So I'm very much about sacrificing, especially since I know that it can get you places, but at the same time, you know, I'll be 35 here in September, and I know that the fact of the matter is I can't be working this many hours and grind this much and deprive myself and put my body in harm's way for so long, for much longer, because I'll be 35, and you know, once you start hitting your 40s, that's when you really have to start taking everything seriously. And quite frankly, I haven't even been going to the gym, because whenever I'm not working, I'm just so fucking tired mentally and physically. And I know when you look at it from every success point of view that it's just an excuse, and you're absolutely right. It is an excuse, but it just really sucks. Like on a weekend, right? On a weekend, I have to be up at 5 a.m. so that way I can open the place at 6, and then after I'm done with one shift at work, I have to go like shortly after that, like actually a couple hours later after that, I have to be at the other place, and I have to be there till close to midnight, and then I have to be up at 5 again the next morning after that. So by the time I get home, I don't even have time to wind down. I mean, I can't even wind down. By the time I do, it's like I got to be up in 2 hours. So that's what's been going on a regular weekly basis. And I know that especially once I get into my 40s, I'm not going to be able to do that anymore. So I have to do that in order to be able to save once college starts. And so that way I can get out of debt and get some stuff paid off. So that way my monthly bills and requirements will go way the hell down. So that way I could just grind and then just save my ass off even more so. And so that way I can have an opportunity, because the opportunity to go to college has been presented to me and I want to take it. But I'm not going to be able to start right away though, because I have to save for it beyond my just regular savings. So, and I need to get out of debt. So, and on top of that, there's the content creation here that I don't want to give up without a fight either. So when you put everything together, I've got my work cut out for me. So after these next 2 to 3 months or so, there's going to be some sort of change. In terms of content, I still want to continue doing it, but this is the grind. This is exactly the kind of grind that somebody has to go through in life if they want to basically be successful. Throw some luck in there as well, and it certainly doesn't hurt. But yeah, that's basically what it's been like for me, and I thought I'd share it with you and just give you a little bit of an insight of what's going to go on in the future. So in case you see some inconsistencies here and there, at least you will know why, and hopefully you can forgive that. But anyway, guys, that's all I got for this one. Let me know down in the comment section what you think. If there's any input or any advice, I'm always open to advice and input from everybody. Again, I'm just another person here in this world. So no matter who you are, I think you can always have somebody, you can always gain and learn from somebody regardless of age, circumstances, or whatever. So if there's any input you want to put in the comment section down below, let me know. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, let me know. And if you didn't, let me know what I can do to make my videos better. I'll catch you guys on the next one.